Sometimes you just gotta make them bite. There he is. Look at that. Great big one. This spot's gotta have fish. I got him. Good one, boy. Good one. There we go. There, Cup. Nice fish. That did not take
Fish swim, up, down, all around. It's what they do, especially when actively searching for something to eat. Sometimes fish suspend up high. Other times they hug tight to the bottom. The rest of the time they may be somewhere in between. No matter where fish are in the water column, you need to put your baits or lures right on target to catch them. Matching the right tactics to fish position is one of the big keys to fishing success.
Feels like a nice fish. Certainly a fish with a lot of attitude, staying down like a walleye. Oh yeah.
Today, on The Edge, we're on a roll for bass, casting and crawling roller jigs across rocky bottom for summer largemouth.
No question about it. It's a really big bass technique throughout the summer months. The real key is your electronics. Figure out how the rocks are laid out. Really slow presentation. Terminator, roller jig and a craw or a twin-tailed grub, boy, produces big boys.
And there she is.
My first Mercury.
154 stroke, the lightweight heavyweight. And she comes with all this. Say hi to Wendy from customer support. She's always there to help. Jerry from product testing. He dishes out the torture.
They can take it. Good.
And Tim from design. He never misses a detail. Obsessed with quality. Bobby, prop engineer. He turns horsepower into performance. This is George.
It's good to have Mercury behind you. Meet the rest of the team at mercurymarine.com.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
First one. Oh, big one.
Look at that.
Really? You're seriously just gonna leave me in here?
Yeah, fishing deep today, Ike.
Are you kidding me? These are perfect conditions for pulling big bass out of heavy cover.
Yeah?
Heck yeah! Try one of these weedless wacky jigs.
All right, yeah.
It has an offset hook and stainless steel weed guard. Whoa! Oh,
Sorry, Ike.
flip it in there, and its wacky action will have you pulling out one fat bass after another. Please! I can't say anything.
Suffix 832 is constructed with 7 strands of Dyneema and a single strand of Gore Performance Fiber. It's the roundest, longest casting line in the world. It offers superior abrasion resistance so you can fish it anywhere. It's the strongest, most sensitive, and durable small diameter braid ever to hit the water. Nice fish, Brett.
Thanks.
Suffix 832. Always use the best line.
Closed captioning provided by Northwest Ontario, Canada.
Dave Sanda and myself are going to share with you a really simple system for catching some of the absolute biggest bass in your lake throughout the course of the summer. You know, in a lot of lakes across the country, most people think weeds for bass. Well, realistically, that's a really good idea. If you have deep weeds in that lake, the bass live in the weeds. But in a lot of cases, in the warm water period, a lot of times bass like rocks. And what we're going to look at is a relatively simplistic technique for catching really big bass, and it's called football heading. And what we're doing, we're sort of moving along a little rock structure right here. As you can see, I have a number of waypoints. I've actually fished this spot in the past. And these waypoints actually represent a real specific spot. What there is a big weed bed over there and a big weed bed on the tip of that point. But these GPS coordinates, these waypoints, represent a rock spine that runs from this island to this point. And you can see some of these isolated boulders in here, and that's where these really big bass, you can find them throughout the warm water months. You'll notice that the water temperature right now is 84 degrees. This is a real critical spot for holding really whoppers. You can see that those are really giant boulders, and you'll notice when I go across that exact coordinate, that's what I'm going to go across. That's what I've identified. This is side imagery right now. I'm looking out to the side of the boat 60 foot. And what this is just almost like a road spine with big boulders on it. And this is the classic type of position where you'll catch really big bass throughout the summer months. And David, are you about ready? We'll set up on this and break out our weapons. That should be pretty good. We're gonna have to fish back down the ridge here, David.
That is a nice one. That's a good one.
Yeah, there's some big boys in here. It looks like a better one, or is it a pike?
It's got some
Looks like a
poundage to it.
bass.
That's a nice big bass.
Yeah. Roller and out beyond the edge of the weed line on these couple of rock extensions. There's some good ones out there. There you go. That's a real one there.
That's a big boy. That's what we're after. Whew, look at that guy. He really thumped it pretty good too. On the rocks, just outside the weed edge, cruising on that little ridge. Right where he's supposed to be.
Better one. Whoa. Whoa. Ooh, that's up the right one there, Dave. Look at that guy there. It's interesting, you know, when you get on these
Nice one, Jake.
rock spines like that, what's really critical is how you position on the spot and actually how you pull the baits over the spot. There's like a little rock spine here, and it seems like you get set up on the right spot. That's a good one there. Look at that guy there. That's a rock bass. Out beyond the edge of the deepest weeds. You know, in so many different bodies of water, it's throughout the summer months, the warm summer months, that's where a lot of these really big bass feed. We'll get her back in the water. Look at her, she's starting to fatten back up a little bit. This is sort of the big-headed one. You know, right now we're fishing in a natural lake, but this same, what we're doing right here works really big in Mid-South reservoirs. The fish get what they term as ledge fishing.
This is the same kind of rock point or a clean extension, a clean lip with rocks on it. That would be really good for throwing a crankbait. You could take a deep diving crankbait and pound it across the top. Today it seems like the fish prefer something where the bait is moving a whole lot more slowly. And in this case, the roller jig just crawled along. Seems to be the hot ticket.
Sometimes what's really interesting about this, if you fish really, really slow, there's more of them and they just keep on pulling up onto these rock piles and feeding. These fish are moving out. You know, Dave and I were talking when we first pulled up on here, we were looking at the weeds that surround this area, but what this is a lot of times this is a feeding area. These fish will come out and they'll keep on reloading on the spot.
You might ask, what is a feeding area, which anglers often refer to as a food shelf? Basically, it's an area of similar depth where fish find optimum feeding and living conditions. It's kind of like a neighborhood that provides everything that fish need for survival. In many largemouth bass lakes, weed beds are classic food shelves that provide a variety of dining and living options during the summer months. Sometimes within the weeds and sometimes along or adjacent to their edges. The deep outer edges of weed beds are pivot points where fish behavior changes alongside the food shelf. Bass often move in and out, up and down along the weed edge when actively feeding, and then return to a resting location when inactive. In today's case, two massive weed beds adjoin a sand and rock food shelf of about the same depth, adjacent to the weeds. When active, bass occasionally move out of the weeds onto the boulder spine to graze on minnows and crayfish. Remember, however, that all of the fish do not feed at the same time. So when we say that these locations will reload, that means that as small groups of bass filter out of the weeds to feed, additional waves of bass visit the spot. At times, you can come out here and not catch a thing, but then return in 2 hours and catch a fish on nearly every cast. The good news is, unlike weeds that flourish and die during the course of the year, these rock locations never change and are liable to produce fish year after year, making them highly dependable fishing spots, especially for bigger bass.
Oh yeah, big bass.
That's a big boy.
That's a big boy. Whew!
You want to look
Exact same spot again. It's amazing how they're clustered in one little area.
there, buddy. Whoa, 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 whoa. This guy here's got a little bit of an attitude. So what do you get in some of these spots at this time of the year, and you have one thing about deep weed fishing in these rock piles, they can collect tremendous schools of big bass. It's a nice one.
Oh yeah, look at that. Man, these are big bass.
And we're talking lots of big ones using the weed edge. It's a gorgeous fish. We'll get her back in the water.
As James mentioned before, this is definitely a big bass pattern. Little guys need not apply. Look at that. That's a pretty bass. Back you go. Well, I'll tell you what, you want to catch some big bass, go to lakes that have good, dirty, fertile water like this. They grow big bass. Probably the easiest place actually to catch bass on a pattern like this, because the weeds don't grow too deep. We tend to have rock and gravel extensions and boulders outside the weed beds. Man, if you've got big bass like that in that kind of a layout, you got rocks, it's time to roll.
The biggest thing is I think it's really slow. They want it just crawling on the bottom, really. There's another one right there, look at that. Whoop. Oh, no, another one. Whoa, whoa. Hey, come here, buddy. Look at that guy there.
Adaptable jigging and rigging tactics will put more bass in your boat this season. And in bass, jigging and rigging patterns, we cover the fine points of fishing soft baits with precision and finesse. It's part of our Angling Edge instructional DVD collection available at anglingedge.com.
Are you finding it harder and harder to spend time with your family? All you need is the right place to reconnect.
Big walleye, Dad.
Got it. Here we go. This is fun.
Northwest Ontario, your place to reconnect.
Why take chances with your engines? Protect them from neglect, wear, and tear the easy way with Seafoam Motor Treatment. Seafoam helps to maintain top engine performance by removing harmful deposit buildup from your engine and fuel system. Control moisture in gas and diesel. Stabilize fuel for up to 2 years and lubricate your engines to start easier, run cooler, and last longer. Trust all your engines to Seafoam Motor Treatment, the choice of mechanics for over 70 years.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
The biggest thing is I think it's really slow. They want it just crawling on the bottom. Really, there's another one right there. Look at that. Oop. Oh. Nope. Another one. Whoa. Whoa. Hey, come here, buddy. Look at that guy there. Sort of no fooling equipment. Right now I'm actually fishing with a 20-pound E32 braid on a 7-foot smoke rod with a relatively sort of a medium action. The thing is, I like a long rod for this because a lot of times what you're doing is making really long casts and just sort of reeling it in really slowly. But the key is a lot of times you'll be hooking them out on the end of the cast, and that long rod combined with the braid enables you to set the hook. That's particularly true. You get in like reservoir fishing scenario and you might be fishing these baits in 25 foot of water. Right now we're catching them in about 8. Yeah, you can go back that way. That rocks runs that way. And it drains that other lake out in there. I think the spot is out this right out this way. Dave, I've sort of repositioned here. We're gonna try something that I've been doing a lot lately, is put the talon down, and we're gonna see if we can actually just hold in a single position right here. I'm in a upstream and I can cast right over that rock ridge. The cool thing about that unit here, I can actually pin the boat in as deep as 12 foot of water. And I just been using that as a boat control tool so much lately. It's just unbelievable. You get on these spots and what you don't do is you don't keep on driving back and forth over the fish. You get set up and you can isolate, like right there is where the rock spine is, and the boat's not rolling back and forth over them.
Okay, here's our boat position, and there's the waypoint where we're catching our fish. I'm going to move the cursor over on top of the waypoint and see the distance we have. According to this, we're 52 feet away. That's an easy cast for even somebody as old as James.
Yeah. A lot of times what I'll do with this bait, I'll throw it way out, just let it sink to the bottom, and there's a couple of different retrieves that you have a tendency to really work well with this particular bait. And one of them is I simply let it sink to the bottom and just reel it in really slow, and I put the rod tip at sort of a right angle and just keep on reeling really, really slow. The other way is sort of an intermittent stop and go, and what I'll do is just pull the bait, reel up the slack, pull the bait, so it's actually sort of stopping and intermittently sort of rolling over the boulders, and you can see how I'm just bouncing really slowly over the rocks.
I knew I had a bite. I don't even have a lefty this time. I got both of my craw. Okay,
here you go.
My little flappers are gone. You can see we're taking these things and we're jigging them on a relatively heavy head. That's about a ½ ounce. And you want a heavy head that'll get down to the bottom and really crawl along and bang, bang, bang down there. It's not just a little skirting retrieve. We want to make some noise. And the more that you drag, the more the jig head rolls around back and forth, and it puts action on these little flippers back here. So even though we're not fishing real deep, a heavy head is key to the presentation.
Got him. Oh, there's a big one. See, we got in close enough. Dave, I chunk right off the tip of the bow of the boat here. Come here, buddy. Oop, come here, buddy. Nice bass though. Hey buddy. Looking at the E32. This Suffolk 832 braid, what it does, when you combine it with a football head like this, it's amazing on how it telegraphs the bottom composition and strikes. That particular fish, as Dave has seen a couple of different times too, when you're pulling it along, they come up and they'll just like bang it, and like they're grabbing at the claws, and that's what sometimes we're pulling in. They're just taking the claws off the bait. But you have really tremendous feel. You can see this is a Terminator football head, and you can see it has a real wide, almost football head shape, but it's actually, what happens is you pull this bait around and you'll notice where the high eye placement, it rolls right over the rock, so it's relatively snag resilient as far as bottom composition with this round shape. But as David was saying, a heavier head, you know, right now we're in half, you know, I might even fish as heavy as like a 3/4 ounce, even if I'm only fishing in 10, 15 foot of water. You may have to readjust talon, Dave. I might be a little bit too high. We may lift up a little bit and just slide down about a half a cast. Might be really good.
Okay.
Another big one. Oh, there's a big one, Dave. Whoa. Look at that guy there. Another nice one. Look at all of them. They're all the same size.
Nice
Whoa.
one. Oh. Oh. Nice bass.
I'm telling you, when you get on these fish, it's just an amazing deal. The thing is the patience. One thing that we're fishing with right now is relatively dark water. And I know in some of these North Country lakes that we fish up here, a lot of tournaments are won doing this exact same thing. No question about it. It's a really big bass technique throughout the summer months. The real key is your electronics. Figure out how the rocks are laid out. Really slow presentation. Terminator, roller jig, and a craw or a twin-tailed grub, boy, produces big boys.
Learn to target the largest fish that swim. Finding big fish cuts through the myths and misconceptions, maximizing your odds for big fish success. It's part of our Angling Edge instructional DVD collection, available at anglingedge.com.
Oh, there he is. Hey, you! Yeah. Fat boy, you can't get none of this. Look at me. I got moves. I go left, I go right, I go left again. Watch it. Oh, there it is. Psych! I'm so erratic, I don't even know where I'm going. Come on, Chubby Cheeks. Come on, Bucket Mouth. Come get some of this. I can do this all day long. Look at me. Watch this. Come on. Your mama's so fat that she can't get out the fish net. Ow! All right, I'll give you that one.
We tried beating it senseless, bending it in half, and punishing it with extreme temps, corrosive salt water, and blistering UV rays. And all Talon did was ask for more. So we wanted to know what Talon's breaking point really was. We'll let you know if we ever find it. Talon, born tough, tested tougher.
In fishing, nothing beats the confidence and enjoyment that comes with using the best equipment. There's a reason why generations of professional anglers, guides, and camp operators make Lund their boat of choice. They stand up to the elements and the repeated use that hardcore anglers put them through, season after season. They're guide-tested, wilderness-proven. Isn't it time for you to experience the Lund difference?
It's time to put a new spin on innovation and touch off a revolution. It's time to push boundaries and leave our mark on the world. It's time to say goodbye to excuses, limitations, and half measures. It's time to get it together. New Onyx with Crosstouch. Now, everything you can do with a touchscreen, you can also do with a touchpad. only from Humminbird.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
Hey, have you ever had a time in your life when something happened to you that you couldn't really explain? There was no natural words for it. Something you experienced that was truly out of the ordinary. For a lot of us, we would refer to those as miracle moments. I'm reading a book. In fact, you can see I just marked it up with a lot of tabs. It was really fun to me. It's titled Divine Alignment. And it says here, how God wink moments guide your journey. God winks. Those words really caught my attention. It says on the back, divine alignment offers a comprehensive approach for living our lives in harmony with God. Every minute of every day, offering a whole new paradigm for understanding the mysterious connections between people, events, challenges, and solutions. You know, I really believe that God reaches out to every single one of us every single day through people, places, the circumstances of life. The goal is simple, that we could make that connection between us and Him. I believe He tugs at our hearts every single day, every man, woman, and child that lives in this earth. I truly, truly believe that. And the way He describes these words, God winks, really got my attention. And this is a whole bunch of stories by people that confirm their experiences of God wink moments that can only be described as a touch from the hand of God. I know in my life I can refer to 5 times that there is no question in my mind something happened that I would have to call miraculous. No question in my mind about it. For those special, special moments, I had a tug, a call. It was totally out of the ordinary. Once in a while at a testimony, I share some of these things. But now that I know what to call them, how to define them as God wink moments. Think about those words this week and when you had a God wink moment. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, you have a good, safe fishing season. We'll see you on the water.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for watching. And if you really like what you see, we got a whole lot more. So check us out at any one of these online outlets.